They are also frightening, sometimes even deadly. You've seen it already. Miss Huddleston, are you certain you're strong enough for this task?
No. All I can do is try. I probably seem very young and innocent to you.
Very. You also seem determined and truthful. Those are important qualities. Teaching here will not be easy. It will be the hardest thing Thee has ever tried. Hold on to joy. Joy is a great gift. Thee will need it.
That first day of school, I was terrified. But I tried hard to settle the butterflies in my stomach so that Mr. Grantland would think me an experienced teacher. Good morning, Mr. Grantland.
Well said. Hardly a tremor. Good morning. Shall we get started? And by the way, it's David. Steady! Whoa! Those ice-pick shoes aren't too practical.
I was just trying to look taller.
Well, there's no need to impress the children. They're very glad you're here.
They're not wearing shoes.
They're too poor.
I was ashamed. What tokens of vanity my shoes seem now.
Teacher, I've come to see you and to swap howdies.
Miss Huddleston, this is little Burl Allen, one of Bob's sons.
I'm pleased to swap howdies with you, Burl. And I was happy to hear that your father's better. 12 grades, 6 classes a day. Even with David teaching math and Bible, how was I ever going to manage 72 lessons?
I'm coming pretty, ain't she?
You always get stuck on the teachers.
Looks good ginger for me. Reckon she'll have the study fit for it all.
Heck no. She's too little to tan anyone's britches.
Sit down, boys. All of you take your seats. Miss Huddleston has come all the way from Asheville to be your teacher. She was persuaded by Miss Alice to undertake your education. And that's no small thing for somebody to do. It meant sacrificing time with her family, uprooting herself.
There were tiny ones as young as 5,
Coming to a place she's
and
never
several
even
who looked
seen
older than
before.
I. Some were sleepy.
We're all very
I'd
grateful
find
to
out
her.
they'd gotten up before dawn to walk here.
And I
Many
know
had
you'll
faces
treat her
too
with
old
the
and
kindness
sober, like
and
the faces of
respect
old men and women.
she deserves.
Thank you, Mr. Grantland. You must have many important things to do, so I won't ask you to stay.
Are you sure? That's Lundy Taylor. there's a feud between the Taylors and the Allens. Lundy's never been to school with any of the Allen children before.
I'm sure we'll get along just fine. Thanks so much.
All right. If you're sure.
She's nervous.
How can you tell?
Look at her shaking.
She talks funny, too.
Sit up straight, Lundy Taylor. And please take your feet out of the aisle. Thank goodness for a familiar face. Ruby Mae Morrison did housework at the mission. Ruby Mae, could you please help me take the roll?
Yes'm. What's take the roll?
I need everyone's name and age, their parents' name, and their home address, where they live.
Ma'am, you just can't morally write that.
Of course you can. You watch me do a row and then you'll see. Name, please.
Front name be Sam Houston. Back name be Holcomb.
And what's your address, Sam?
Generally, go by Sam Houston, ma'am.
All right. I beg your pardon. Where do you live, Sam Houston?
Well,
An awful smell
first
kept
you cross
distracting me.
Cutter Branch,
I hoped it wasn't any of the
cross
children,
Lonesome Pine Ridge.
but I didn't know what else it could be.
Best way. When you come to the fork in the trail, you just scoot under the fence.
Thank you. We'll get addresses later.
They just hogs, teacher. They live down there 'cause it's cool.
I see. It was an unconventional roll call, but I learned a great deal about the children that day. Odor Baloteal, who insisted on his full name, and his small sister. And what's your name? Hush, please. Don't be afraid, you can tell me.
Ain't no use in asking her, teacher. She'd be Mountie O'Teal.
She don't talk, teacher.
Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty to say after we get to know each other.
Teacher, I worked these figures.
All of them?
Yes'm. Could you get me a harder book?
I'll surely try as 80.
Zachariah to over that hole. Plumb crazy, ain't your name tall?
All right. This is no time for fooling. We have a roll to take. Now, what's your name?
Zachariah to over that hole. Teacher, he be a packing lice. You can tell. Just look at his ear. All the hopes when they tell a whopper their ears twitch. Ma'am, I answered a creed hour. And that thar's Scalawag.
Might be a good name for you, too.
Sleeps with me every night. Oh, he be clean. Coons wash every natural blessed thing afore they eat it. They be the best pets.
Creed. We have to have a talk about Scalawag in school.